The world would be my lab.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We're not there yet.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
All right, it's crossover time. We welcome in Dan Dibley and Mark Willard, along with Daryl the Guru Johnson and myself. What's up, gents? How you doing?
Hi, boys.
Yeah, feeling good. Coming off the Souls of Mischief there. 93 till infinity. It makes me think that song came out more recently than the 49ers winning in Minnesota. Last time they won in Minnesota, 1992. That song was called 93 to Infinity, Souls of Mischief. Shout out Oakland, California.
Souls of Mischief from 93 till.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Look at the wheel.
Secret flavor on Willard. Secret flavor.
I couldn't get enough of
Tries
Mr.
to keep it under wraps.
I like to keep it. I like to keep it under a blanket.
Yeah. It's good. Doc Feely was great yesterday.
What do you do? This is fascinating to me.
Okay, what do you do?
Guru's going to hold him out till week 6.
No,
week 6. Right. No, he's determined
week
that week 6.
Because that's a pretty good
he knows.
That is the John
it's become the go-to, and it's funny because I actually will find my way doing it at home with the baby, you know.
Dibs can't stop, won't stop.
Okay.
It's actually out of control.
He loves it then.
I haven't had a conversation with him in the last 4 weeks where it doesn't happen. It's like every other sentence.
I'm trying not to, but we're watching Sesame Street, and I'm telling my 2-year-old daughter, that's Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster.
There you go.
And she looks at me like, what's wrong with you?
But I mean,
Willard,
the original John Sally was just a John Sally.
There you go.
I'm kind of with you. I'm team bubble wrap. I don't know if week 6 is the number, but artificial turf in 2, you don't play. Artificial turf in week 3, you don't play. Then you got 4 or 5 on grass. I look at week 4, Guru, as a time to bring him back.
Hey, Mark, is this?
Yes, sir.
Is this the same partner you had a few weeks ago when he was saying, why not play in the preseason? And it's football.
Exactly. This is an injury, though. This is not a preseason
Well, no,
game.
but football does take us to hypocritical places. Like, shout out to all of you Super Bowl or bust people who now don't want to play Christian McCaffrey, and he's signed for multiple years. So let's start worrying about next year, too. I've been coached for the last 8 weeks. We're not supposed to care about next year. It's week to week. It's year to year. Stop worrying about the future. So
you can't win the Super Bowl in week 2, but you can lose it now.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
If Christian McCaffrey goes out and his leg explodes.
Christian McCaffrey being out does not lose the Super Bowl. Well, necessarily.
Hurts your chances.
I mean, when Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP, the Super Bowl was over, right? When he tore his ACL. That's it. There goes that dream. Yeah. And then Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I get where every answer you all have, I can't refute it. Because I don't feel qualified.
And Steiny's been saying that all day.
Like, I have no idea how he feels.
But can I let you in on why I'm more concerned? Sure. This is not week 5 and he got rolled up on, or week 6 or week 7. Your last football game was in January.
February.
Okay, February. Help me out. And you had all those months to come in and say, you know what, it ain't feel. So are we sure time heals? That's what I'm worried about. Well, he's had downtime. You hadn't been doing anything, and it's barking. So are we so sure if we even do I know I'm being ludicrous with 5 weeks. Are we still sure when he gets back that the body's going to react once he's done with said game?
Absolutely not. We're never going to be sure about anything.
That's all.
But that's probably the difference between the way our brains work and the way people who play football work. No, we're never sure. You're not going to be sure. It's never safe. It's never okay. It's never.
What's the injury rate in the NFL, Mark?
100%.
Okay.
But this is an area where athletes have lost. Durant and Greenlaw, but Joe Burrow just beat it last year.
Yeah. I mean, did he beat it? I mean, they came in 4th place. So I don't know if he beat it. And now apparently he can't pick up a Gatorade bottle. That was weird video. That's the thing. I don't know how he feels. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's safe. And I don't know if safe is even possible. But at a certain, so that's sort of what we're grappling with is what risk are you willing to take knowing that all things are some risk?
Man.
Like you're going to, you can't avoid it. You could be like week 6. Well, what if he's still got a little tweak in there week 6?
Then you wait till week 9.
What if it's still there week 9?
Then you hope by week 13 he's ready.
Are you sitting out the season because it doesn't feel perfect?
Depends on how badly it feels. And again, none of us can play amateur doctor. And we'll play some Kyle from the Kyle presser today. And we'll play a little McCaffrey, and they're giving you a little bit more insight into what they think is the severity of the current situation. So don't know if he'll play on Sunday or not, but just it doesn't seem to be as alarmist to them as it is to us. But back of your mind, Goo, you do have that fear because one bad step, it can go, and it's going to cost you 9 months.
Well, if the Niners were of the mind of Week 6, if that was of their mind, then he's on IR. Oh, get a roster spot. And Kyle poo-pooed the idea of IR firmly.
Full platter.
And who's the backup to the backup? Like, are we going to give it to Mason 28 times again every week?
Garendo.
Yeah, all right.
Get up to speed, young man.
It's probably that other guy, Patrick Taylor Jr.
Garendo got on the field, though, the other night.
He sure did.
He got on the
Three
field.
plays.
Three plays.
Taylor,
shout out GT.
I think that's 0 for Taylor and 3 for Garendo, if I'm correct. So I think Garendo is next. And by the way, the coach's last name is Shanahan. So I've been coached my whole life to know that you can put anybody you want back there.
Yeah,
and
case in
that's
point
where
Monday
this
night.
thing is
and
going.
you might get 100 yards out of whoever the hell you stick back there.
Yeah,
you might.
Well, you
That's
might.
fair,
but
man.
if you're going to ask for 29 touches for JP Mason, he had 28 carries and 1 catch. So 29 for a guy in week 1. Yeah, he's fresh and boy, he looks good. But if you're going to 29 your way through September and October, he might wear down a little bit.
Did you hear what he said to Christian, though,
told
after the game?
Steiny that.
This was great, and it got lost because of everybody getting all freaked out about him not being happy with when did you know you were starting.
Where you going?
The quote of the game for J.P. Mason was him saying that he went to Christian McCaffrey after 28 carries and went, I don't know how the hell you do this.
Yeah.
How do you do this every game, every year? And obviously Christian could answer and be like, I don't.
Yep.
You know, every other year I miss 14 games.
Last year they played 20 games.
Yep.
How many of those 20 games do you think Christian McCaffrey had 20 or more touches in a game?
I know he didn't play in one of them. He didn't play in one of them.
17.
You got 17 to 20?
Wait, so, okay.
19,
So
We're
one of them,
talking carries and catches combined.
I'm going 20.
Every game.
Yeah, every game he played.
He didn't play in one. I'll split the difference. 18.
14 is the answer.
Okay.
14. And there was that stretch when the Cleveland stretch where they also lost to Cincinnati and Minnesota. Those were times where, because they were trailing,
They were
I think,
down.
they didn't run it as much. But 14 to 20 times, he had 20 or more combined. So, it's not like you're going to give him 28 like you did J.P. Mason, or 29 rather.
Yeah, it's so funny all show long and even yesterday how we Perry Mason or people, not me because I don't care. Oh, so he was hurt when he signed his deal. Like McCaffrey. What good does that do you now? It doesn't matter. You signed him. He probably felt good then. Wasn't a game the next few days. You paid him because he was worth it.
Yeah.
But the amount of he knew he was hurt when he signed is just like Monday morning quarterback.
I mean, the Warriors went to the hospital with a max deal for Klay Thompson, didn't they? I mean, like you have to project things, and sometimes you're wrong. This is true with every draft pick. And by the way, I don't even know that that's the case here. But if you've got tendonitis in April, I'm not sitting there being like, well, that's damaged goods. No, like
he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be. And I actually still feel that way. Christian McCaffrey's going to play this year.
Of course.
Hopefully a lot. Hopefully almost all of the season.
Yep.
Hopefully this will be forgotten by the time October gets here and everything's fine. But like fingers crossed every time they play.
Well, all of them, right?
Yeah.
And you watch, the way Debo plays with the ferocity and all that, and he got shaken up in the Monday night game.
The kick return. I tell him, he goes, but it's football. But I don't need that.
I like the Debo threat on the kick return, and you know who's back there with him, right, on kick return?
Cowan?
No, your guy.
Juice.
Yes, so they treat it like an I formation play.
Catch of the game.
If you want to dare kick it short of the goal line, we're going to have Juszczyk be the lead blocking fullback and Debo right behind him. Lots of luck. That's why the Jets put it in the end zone, I think, every time but one.
Except when they bounced it once, though, too.
That's right. They bounced it once. But other than that, when you see Debo back there, you don't want him with a lead blocker and a head start on you. That's a recipe for disaster.
For him, too, though, because he was slow to get up a few times with those collisions.
Yep, no doubt.
Willa, real quick, your son's story on the fantasy. I thought I had a story or a loss. I'm in the car listening to that.
Yeah.
That is hurt. Yeah. Heartbreak on tail.
For those who weren't listening,
Help me out.
He was a McCaffrey guy like so many of you were. And he finds out an hour before he's in the stadium, and they're texting me like, "You got to do something, Dad. What are we gonna do?" They're like, "Go." The only thing he can do is pick up juice. And I'm like, and everyone's like, "Well, that's not gonna work." And then Juice catches it at the 4, and you're like, "He's gonna win the game." And he falls at the 2.
Oh,
and he lost by 4 points. 10 years old.
Good effort,
though. I know. I was like, "Oh, that's a heart." You know what that is, Dibs? It's a palpitation sensation.
Yeah, it sure is. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
When the heart starts beating.
Cha-ching!
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Mm-hmm.
My mentality is...
Why is it up to me to say something?
Because it's your last day golfing of the year.
I was just about to speak for you.
Oh, okay.
My mentality is I'm playing this week. Quote. Christian McCaffrey.
No, see, and he's a gladiator.
Nervous?
But I guess I live with... would you say, hey, we know that's how you feel, son, but sit this one out, Gipper. We need you to sit this one out.
I mean, his mentality had better be that he's going to play this week. His mentality needs to be that. Now, how's his body? Is he able to run and cut and stop and jump and do all the things he needs to do?
Boy.
That has nothing to do with his mentality, unless you're really, really hurt. So, yeah, he's preparing it every day, treatment, stretching, workouts, whatever he can do. He's getting ready for Sunday, and you have to do that.
Well, and you don't have to make decisions until you have to make decisions.
Bob Myers.
What are you having for dinner on Friday night?
Don't know.
There you go.
Turkey burgers.
Okay, that's fine, but you don't have to make that decision until Friday.
Yeah.
So the 49ers...
I actually never make that decision, but I get your point.
Yeah, so you were told you're having turkey burgers.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, that's great. His mentality is that. I just struggle with, I have no idea how we're putting logic on any of the answers that are based on the idea of when. So, like...
I totally get
There's so many people who are like, don't play him this week. Well, but is next week okay? Why would next week be okay if this week's not okay? We don't know how he feels. Both games are on turf. I had no idea.
said they would catch hell. We don't want anything to happen, but if something did, however long they wait, somebody will be like, you should have did this.
That's what sucks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to catch it regardless.
That's the beauty of being a fan, is you get to make that judgment. Either they bubble wrap him, don't play him, and they lose, and you're mad, or they play him, and something bad happens, and win or lose, it doesn't matter, and you're mad. You get the ability to be mad.
See, but sure, nobody gets to stop anybody else from being mad, but I feel like coaches in football tend to lean toward this idea. You know, if you're told by your doctors that your guys are ready, let's go.
They play. Exactly.
Let's go. Like because there's no way to protect anybody, even if you're fully healthy. And the last thing they want to do, like if we're going to rip him, if he goes out there and it does get worse, all right, well, how about if they bubble wrap him and they start losing football games? Now what? And Christian's over there like, I'm ready. I want to play. And the Niners are losing games.
Well, he gets ripped.
The one thing I don't think, the one thing I don't think Kyle Shanahan thinks is, okay, I think we can beat Minnesota without McCaffrey, so let's give him it's like, no.
I totally agree with this.
If he's ready,
yes,
he's going to play him. And this is where I'm different, I guess. 1 week of football.
We not like you.
1 week of football, and what are we talking about? Oh, Christian McCaffrey. What you can't play him. Because we need the playoffs. Okay. Jordan Mason. Oh, we can't run him 28 times because he's a backup and he needs to play. Deebo Samuel. Well, you can't have him return kicks because it's like, you got to play football. These guys got to play.
Yeah, man. Coaches are going to treat their players the way my kids treat dessert, man. It's right now. Let's go get it. And I'm not saving any for tomorrow. Like look at the Le'Veon Bell story. Look at many running backs through the history, especially if Shanahan's the last name of the head coach. Turn and burn.
Yeah.
Let's
Orlando's
go.
Geary. Remember him?
There's no saving it for next week, or let's get some tread on the tires for 2025 or whatever. The much more popular concept is let's go win, and when it's time to replace you, we will.
Let me throw this at you because I don't have any proof of this, but it's just the way I feel about Shanahan. I kind of feel like he's the kind of coach that if McCaffrey plays, he's going to run 25 times. Like Kyle doesn't want to use McCaffrey and say, well, maybe we should only rush him 12, 15 times, lighten his, I don't think he's that kind of coach.
I would agree if he would have had camp, but the no camp, I do think he probably gets the Ayuk treatment, and Ayuk played, about 70% of the snaps?
Maybe even a little less.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. He definitely came out just on substitutions.
And what if team doctors tell him otherwise?
Well, I think Shanahan would rather not have him play at all than have to consider, I can't use him like I want to use him.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know the way he looks at it, but if the doctors are like, look, we really feel like for both this year and beyond, you're going to get the most. Your best bet is just shoot for 15 to 18 touches a game. I think Kyle can work with that. You know what I mean? And then it becomes circumstantial. What about this? All right? Everybody wants to limit Christian to under 20 touches. All right? But you're playing the Chiefs here. What is that, week 7 or 8?
Week 7.
Okay. Fourth quarter. Christian's already at 19 touches. There's 10 minutes to go in the game. The game's tied. And you've got the ball at your own 11-yard line. Dude, are you riding that horse or not?
I'm riding it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of side with Steiny on this question about what Kyle would prefer, because he's going to get into a game, like you were saying, and you want to win the football game, and he gives you the best chance to win the game. So there won't be a pitch count per se. Now, that being said, I know a lot of fans want to see Christian pulled out of the game when you're up by 3 scores with 8 minutes left. And, Kyle has not shown an eagerness to do that throughout the course of his tenure. So that's another thing that could be worth watching when McCaffrey does play.
Because this was a conversation before we even found out something was going on with him this year.
Yeah.
We were just like, you look at the Carfax report, last time, 2 years at Carolina when he carried it this much, he played 3 games, and then lo and behold, no preseason. I'm like, nothing to see here, and he was kind of making fun of me. And then now this, we don't know.
I don't know. I totally get the concept that everybody wants to, elongate this as long as possible. Even that history of 400 touches and then the next year's not good, 380 touches, the next year's not good. Even that, I'm like, dude, he's a running back in the NFL. Look at all your favorite running backs in the NFL and tell me which ones. Maybe Derrick Henry.
Boy, he's the man.
Easy with the Henry slander.
No, but he tap dancing. Week 1 he was.
No, but my point is,
got me this week.
They all get.
Yeah, I got you.
They all get hurt. They all have quick drop-offs.
We know this.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley and other guys who were
some happened overnight.
That was dramatic.
Some happened overnight.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do a deep dive, Steiny, for you. You'll be on the course, not now, but later, because I know you're trying to get up out of this place.
Why the hell is the bag?
His last golf.
It's the last midweek round of the year.
Willard don't care.
Hello, friends. Karika Park is the setting. Karika North.
I know, but
Schleifer. Who else you got? Schleifer, Dan Daly.
No, K. Willie.
I love K. Willie.
And,
fun to play with.
I don't know who the 4th is.
All right, hit him straight.
This is what I've never asked you. Karika
Park.
You're 4 minutes late. They're like, dude, you're Matt flipping Steinmetz.
Not anymore. Full tee sheets now, Mark. Full tee sheets.
You don't need to be. You don't need to be 17 minutes early for your tee time.
I have a pregame, Mark. I have a pregame.
Why don't you loop this into your pregame?
All right.
Anyway,
you know what? Let me think about that.
I was going to do a deep dive for you, and I want to look at the efficiency of Christian McCaffrey after the 20th touch in a game.
I love it.
Captain Bubble Wrap over here, we got to keep him below 20.
Nah.
I'm going to do the homework and see exactly.
I think that's a great.
You said you want to keep him below 20.
No, I didn't.
Well, you guys can finish this conversation up.
I said
on 95.7.
Yeah.
Hit him straight.
The game.